So we will do mood, tone, and imagery for Desiree's baby. Remember, we'll start with tone because that's the author's attitude. I should really change this. The author's feeling or attitude throughout an entire piece. So that would be tone, tone of voice. Whenever you think of somebody says, "Watch your tone," um, tone is someone else's tone, right? Someone else's tone of voice, how you hear it. And then mood is your mood. What's your mood today? So mood throughout a story can change. Remember, so I have the story has a foreboding mood, starting with Madame Vimaldi describing the fearful feeling she has approaching La Abri. Then I can also, um, as a reader, my mood was joyful and I can say joyful and joyful and loving when Desiree was rejoicing over the birth of her son. However, the mood quickly begins to, well, not really. I mean, throughout the whole story, you could kind of tell something was going to happen, but I was at my personal mood reading Desiree sitting there with her baby. I could maybe recall memories when I had my son. So for me as a reader, the mood was I was happy for Desiree, and it was a loving, joyful mood. Then story goes on. However, the mood of the story becomes one of grief, sadness, and horror when Armand turns on Desiree, causing her to take her own life. And I'm giving like this kind of reads like a summary. You don't really need to explain all this with a mood. It's really just the mood was foreboding in the beginning and the end, and briefly, I would have how you felt reading it. Mood is your feeling as the reader. Tone. Kate Chopin throughout the whole piece would use an ominous foreboding tone. Even when Desiree was sitting there happy, there was still something in the air menacing her piece. She would say, "Wait, let's find that one. That was a good line." This would be a good line of this foreboding, ominous tone. She sat in her room listlessly, and we had where is it? No, when she woke up, Desiree awoke one day to the conviction that there was something in the air menacing her peace. So I'm going to put that. The foreboding tone is apparent through lines like this, and I will say Desiree awoke one day to the conviction that there was something in the air menacing her peace. And that would be on page, if it's page 4, it's really page 2. There we go. So that's how I would say the tone. This shows the tone of the story is ominous and depressing, or ominous, depressing, sad. Um, we could say horrific, not horrific, but ominous, foreboding, something, the tone of something bad will happen, and then it does. Imagery, I use 2 examples, but there's a lot of imagery. Remember, imagery is when the author is invoking your 5 senses, what you see, smell, hear, taste, feel. So I have Desiree in there with her white muslin laces on the couch. You could maybe hear the baby softly snoring. You can see the baby at her breast, the yellow nurse. You can see, wait, I want to say this is an example of imagery as the reader can feel the warm breeze and see Desiree laying leisurely on the sun. The room would be quiet. The imagery builds the peaceful, tranquil mood. We can also say the Xandrine is described as yellow, which begins the which begins to build the colorism theme throughout the story. And colorism would be that people with lighter skin pass as getting special privileges in society, if people were known as passing. Um, so you could say that this attention to people's skin color is being brought in by Kate Chopin's imagery. You can see the color of her skin. That would be the imagery. Also, you could feel the heat in the room, the fan. You could feel the breeze. So that would be the feel. Um, there wasn't really a smell, but you don't need all five, remember. And the last one definitely has that smell. So I had Chopin uses imagery in the story's resolution when Armand has a bonfire to burn Desiree's things. So reader can smell the smoke and see Desiree's clothing burning in a fire. You could see all the enslaved people he has around him, and then you can see him opening the letter and reading the letter. And I guess we can imagine what his face would look like because it did not tell us. After he reads the letter, it doesn't say anything else. So we are left, you could almost say it's the opposite of imagery. We're kind of left imagining, did Armand cry? Did he scream? Like, what did this guy feel? We want to know, but it's not there. But we do see him in the fire. You could say it's symbolic of hell, that he's created a hell for himself and now he's realized it when he opens a letter. That could be an interesting interpretation. All right, so that would be mood, tone, and imagery for Desiree's baby.